From the headlines that move us
to the plays on the field and the people making a difference.
It's news, sports, stories, and the people that make our community come alive.
This is the Heartbeat of Tampa Bay.
I'm Christopher Ingram.
And I'm Sarina Fazan. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
Sarina, Switzerland, Fazan.
Oh, yes. And I have my flag, thanks to you.
Which I presented to you last week.
Absolutely. And that's the outfit
matches.
Today.
Hey, perfect.
So, it means a lot, Christopher.
And that's because...
I, take the neutral side.
You take the neutral side of things, and I don't. So you give me a little bit of balance that I probably much need, and I appreciate it.
Well, no, I appreciate your perspective, of course.
Well, we're going to have some fun today. We have some great stories to talk about. Of course, Iran is in the news. We're going to talk about that. ChatGPT can't wait to discuss what they said about people from the Tampa Bay, St. Pete, Tampa area.
Yikes.
Wow. We're going to talk about the Department of Justice is suing Live Nation, which owns Ticketmaster. Potential antitrust violation. What took them so long? What else? We've got
Spring break.
Spring break.
Which is significant. Significant news coming out of this state. And speaking of the state, also news from Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg.
My goodness.
The Zuckster. One of my least favorite people. No, not really. I'm just jealous. Not really. I'd rather have no money than look like him. Sorry, that was rude. But yeah, he's not an attractive man.
But don't you just love how Christopher just shares his opinion? Love it.
It gets me in trouble too.
No, it's okay. No, honestly, you get people talking.
Well,
I
get myself in trouble too, but that's another story. All right, so Iran is in the news, obviously. We all woke up to this news over the weekend that the United States attacked Iran for their nuclear program. They're also a major state sponsor of terror. They inflict all sorts of havoc in the Middle East. They're very anti-Israel, of course. They're blamed for the October 6th attack in Israel a couple of years ago at that concert. We got rid of some bad guys.
The Ayatollah.
The Ayatollah is no mola.
Right.
He's up in wherever he goes with his 70 virgins, presumably, and he is no more. Yes, exactly. What do you think of what happened in Iran?
Well, so here is how I will answer that.
The Swiss approach.
The Swiss approach. This has been clearly, conflict that has been going on for years and years and years. If we look at the back history of everything that leads up to this, the bottom line is we're putting civilians at risk. We have 6 Americans that have died.
Right.
And wherever the civilians are, it affects all of us.
So your comment about the civilians, are you talking about more concern about the Iranian civilians that might, feel some of the wrath of these missiles coming down on them? Or are you talking about civilians all around the world?
All around the world.
Are threatened by the terrorism that Iran has ties to?
Civilians all around the world. And now look at, 6 U.S. servicemen. People. It affects people who... anything like this always affects so many innocent people.
Right.
Innocent people.
But do you have a take on whether or not this was appropriate action, or you think the verdict's still out? We have to wait and see. We're obviously not making claims of weapons of mass destruction like happened in the first Gulf War. But do you have a particular thought on what President Trump did and whether it was appropriate or not? Because I know the public opinion research so far, the polling says that the American public by about 60% is opposed to this military interaction that happened over the weekend. What are your thoughts?
Well, I will say this, and again, Switzerland. Sometimes I think the United States is such a beautiful, wonderful country, and so many people lean on this country for help. And sometimes I do think, and I do feel, because we are a powerhouse, that sometimes we get involved in so many things that put so many people in this country at risk. And so I would say the verdict is probably still out on this. Now, I also do understand, of course, the U.S. is a leader as well, and sometimes leaders need to take proactive steps to protect the rest of the world. Or, if we talk about the world, we talk about a company, we talk about whatever, and sometimes that's what leaders have to do.
Right.
So I think that's what I would say on that.
Okay. I mean,
How about you? How about you?
Based on what I know now, but what occurred, based on my knowledge about how bad Iran has been to the United States for the better part of the last 40 some odd years, since the 1970s, with the uprising and, they're taking over the Shah and the American embassy. These are bad people, right? Their government, not the Iranian people. So Iranian people, I've met some very nice Iranian people, but that government is absolutely one of the worst on the planet Earth in terms of the things that they support and the evil that they inflict on people around the world with their terrorist ties. So I think that it was an appropriate action. I think it was probably necessary. And, this is one thing that I always do, whether or not it's a Democrat or Republican president, when it's regarding military action and foreign policy, I always tend to defer to the judgment of the people in power who have made these decisions, because they have so much more knowledge and information than we do. Monday morning quarterbacking it and getting our information through the news media, which is not always reliable, when sources are coming out on this type of action. And
especially nowadays, right?
Yeah. So I think you have to trust our leaders, and I think that Donald Trump, for all of his faults, he is a very decisive person. I think that he, probably made a very strong, hard decision, but I think that this was appropriate, and hopefully we're going to get rid of the scourge that is the Iranian Republic as we know it today, and hopefully there will be a successful effort to put a new power element in Iran that is much happier, healthier, right? Because Iran used to be a very prosperous, secular country in the Muslim world, in the Middle East, and today it's anything but. I mean, they have no rights for women, gays, other minority religious groups. They're very, very terrible human rights record over there, and then again on top of that, all of the terrorism that they support around the world. I think the world is going to be a safer place without the Ayatollah and his regime.
It honestly, my heart is literally hurting right now because it's so scary. When I say hurting, it's just, I know there's so many lives impacted. And I rarely, as you know, because I am a registered independent, I try like a journalist. But I will say, whether you're a Trump supporter or not, the bottom line is that man loves this country. He loves the United States. To your point on what the leadership is dealing with, we're not privy to all that information, right? And I also hope that we rely on these leaders to make the right decisions. But there's one thing we cannot doubt, and it is that he truly loves this country.
He loves America. I'll tell you something. I saw this funny meme the other day. First, I'm seeing all these stories about people on the left protesting the war, which, it kind of incenses me. But at the same time, it's reassuring that they have the right to do that here in this country. They have that freedom of expression and to be voicing their opinion and under the First Amendment against our government. And you don't have to support what we do. And that's a great thing. And for that, I'm very thankful. But I saw this funny meme, and it had all these people lined up holding Palestinian flags, and they were exchanging them for Iranian flags, because the left, it was a meme, it was a joke, but because so many of these people that are absurd to the left, that were supporting the Palestinians, and they're just looking for a cause to oppose Trump, and now they're going to be like, oh, we got to save Iran now, and it's just like, no, I agree to disagree with them. All right, too much talk about politics, right? But we still got another political story.
Yeah, and it's closer to home.
Closer to home, that affects a lot of people.
A lot of people, and we're talking about the Department of Justice and
Live Nation.
Yeah.
The DOJ is finally getting off its duff and is suing Live Nation, which of course owns Ticketmaster, where 90% of the world seems to get their tickets from. Live Nation controls all these concert venues. They have the ticketing platform. It's really hard for independent artists to be able to get out there and tour because they can't get their tickets sold. They can't get into venues because Live Nation locks in the right to host events at various venues. And it really is very discouraging that this monopoly seemingly does exist, has existed for decades. And what in the hell has taken the government so long to come after these guys?
So let me ask you this, Christopher C. Ingram. Do you feel that the government should be involved in cases like this that involve private companies or big corporations
Well,
like this?
as you can imagine, as a fiscally conservative, Republican-leaning person, I am very much in favor of individual rights. I'm in for states' rights, and I think that government regulation is often very heavy-handed and is over-regulating. But in this case, where I'm all for free markets, but the free market is clearly not working when you have one entity that controls such a high percentage of all ticket sales and the venues all across the country. That's a monopoly. Clearly, Live Nation is making a lot of money, and they're not just going to hand up, their rights to all this for the sake of, the betterment of the American people. They're a business. They have shareholders. They have quarterly results that they need to meet, and they're
doing really well.
And they're doing really well. And they're not just going to all of a sudden wake up and go, oh, let's do the right thing and not have a monopoly anymore. So I think that it's appropriate that the DOJ, as I said, is finally taking action against them with this lawsuit. And I think that they probably need to be broken up, much like as we were talking about before, the government did with AT&T years ago.
Yes.
They've done it with airlines, Microsoft. Yeah.
Right.
So I think it's appropriate.
What's interesting though too is some of the artists though, and you can't help it, right? Like as an artist, sometimes you want to rely on the company though that does the best for you. So I know we're talking about up and coming artists, but some of the more established artists sometimes will say, or their managers or whoever, of course we're going to go with this with Live Nation Ticketmaster because they're going to make sure that my concert
gets promoted well.
Gets promoted well and everything. So but of course, yes, we want to give the smaller companies and
smaller artists
a chance.
Fair opportunity. And ultimately consumers. Because we're paying out the nose, and you go to buy a ticket, and it might say the ticket's $75, and by the time you get done paying all the service fees and other crap like that, it could be over $150.
How long do you think it's going to take, though?
They said that this case could take up to 6 weeks.
Wow.
So there's a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
So Live Nation is going to put on a strong defense. The trial is they're seating a jury this week. They expect it'll take about 6 weeks to conclude. And they've already, are making motions to have it dismissed, but the judge has already ruled once that isn't going to happen. So we'll see. It's going to play out, and we'll see what happens. Incidentally, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, and 7 state attorneys general filed suit against Live Nation, alleging deceptive trade practices and unfair consumer practices that is yet to be ruled on and panned out. So there's that action going as well. So we'll just have to wait and see, but hopefully ticket prices are going to come down.
Because that trickles all the way down, including here in the state, in our state,
Absolutely.
where we have so many, venues and we have so many artists coming through. So it's going to impact the nation, including so many of us here.
I don't think you can go out to whatever they're calling the Ford Amphitheater now. I can't keep track of it, but across from the Hard Rock, I think that's a Live Nation venue. I don't think I've ever been to any event out there that wasn't sponsored by Live Nation. So I think they have locks on these venues, and you can't get in there if you're a big artist and you're not part of Live Nation. You can't get in there, and that's one of the better places in the Tampa Bay area to have a concert at. So although I'm going out to the Strawberry Festival this Sunday.
How fun!
I'm going to see.
Do you reveal?
Joan Jett.
Love her.
I love Joan Jett.
I love her. Love
She's
her
awesome.
too. I love her too.
I probably should be embarrassed to say I've seen her in concert 17 times.
What?
Yeah, this will be the 18th
Wait,
time.
you have seen her in concert? Okay, when we say we love her, 17 times?
Yeah, I'm like the biggest. All my friends going back to high school, they know me. They're like, yeah, Chris is like the biggest Joan Jett fan.
Okay, do you have a favorite Joan Jett song?
Bad Reputation.
Oh, yeah, that is a good one.
When I did my radio show, that was the theme song for my radio
really?
show. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever met Joan Jett?
Yes, I met her once.
Ooh.
When I was in college, I had a friend who worked for the school newspaper, and I got him to give me kind of like bogus credentials. And I went down to the concert. She was playing in some bar in Savannah. And I got in there. The bar let me in. I showed them the credentials. They took me in and had me talk to her manager, who's a guy named Kenny Laguna, who's a total jerk. I did not like him. He pulled me aside when I, introduced myself and said I was from the school newspaper and I wanted to cover the concert. And he's like, "Come step into my office." And he pulls me into this bathroom. I thought he was going to molest me or something. And then he proceeds to dress me down and tell me I should have contacted the label, like her label, in advance to request an interview and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm just a dumb college kid. Like, I don't even actually work for the paper. I just got these bogus credentials. So he goes in, he talks to her for a minute, and he comes back and he says, she said you can come in and take pictures and talk to her for 10 minutes.
Wow.
And I did, and I was just like starstruck and stunned and sat there and took pictures. And she's like, so what do you want me to do? And I'm like, I don't know, just stand there and look pretty. I don't know.
I didn't even think I'd get a chance to meet you. Do you have any of those pictures?
No, so I go to the concert after I took all the pictures, and then I met this guy there who's from like Charleston. I was at Statesboro and Georgia Southern, and the concert was in Savannah. And I met this guy, I was telling him about it, and he's like, oh, I'd love to see those pictures. And I'm like, well, I'll send you the negatives and you can have some made and, just send me the negatives back. And he never sent the negatives back.
No.
Yeah. And of course it was like 30 some odd years ago, and I lost my pictures since then, but those were the days like you actually had to take a picture and you had film and negatives and all that, but whatever, it was a fun memory.
Well, who knows? We could throw it out in the universe. You may get a second chance to
Maybe,
meet her.
huh? That'd be cool, huh? All right, so ChatGPT.
Okay, this to me is fascinating. All right, because I am, okay, no, you were going to say something? No, what were we going to say?
Okay.
Okay.
What is smelly, lazy, and slutty?
According to ChatGPT, the state of Florida.
People from the state of Florida, specifically the Tampa Bay area. ChatGPT is saying we're smelly, lazy, and slutty, among other things.
And this came out of a local.
It was in the Tampa Bay Times.
It was in the Tampa Bay Times. So I will say, with ChatGPT, now ChatGPT does not, they're not supposed to anyway, create opinions, right? They don't create opinions. What it does a whole data research, pull from websites, pull from everything, and that's what came out. Now, do I agree with it? Absolutely not. But
maybe one out of the three.
But isn't it interesting? I mean, that's because I do feel like I don't think ChatGPT forms opinions unless you're asking, give me your opinion, or
Right.
And it even comes back and says, we're not giving you the opinion, we're basing it off what we find.
Right. It's all based on what the inputs are, which are what people write and say and publish and talk about on the internet, including social media. So this was in a peer-reviewed journal, so it's credible, called the Journal of Platforms and Society, which I've never heard of, but that doesn't mean anything because there's a journal for pretty much everything. And the interesting part was the authors of this study, they knew that ChatGPT is set up to intentionally not be biased and not say nasty things about certain groups, including certain regions of people. But what they did, these researchers figured out a workaround by not just saying which people in the country are the laziest, sluttiest, and stupidest. They said, which people are lazy, stupider, and sluttier? People in Florida or California? And then they kept repeating that over and over again, and then they finally get this ranking, right? So they can rank, like according to ChatGPT, people from Florida are the smelliest, laziest, and sluttiest.
That's so not fair, though.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. That's not fair.
But again, as we just said, it's based on the inputs that ChatGPT is taking from real-world people's interactions online and in the internet. So it's kind of true in as much as this is what people out there think of us.
Well, the larger takeaway from this could be, of course, on a positive note, if you want certain messaging out, start typing away. Like, hey, this city is great, or hey, this show is great, or again, keep on repeating it.
Right. Heartbeat of Tampa Bay is great,
that's
folks.
Right. Yeah, guys, come on, Heartbeat of Tampa Bay. Chris and Sarina get our heart beating.
Well, it's worth noting that not all the things were bad about what they said about people from Tampa Bay. It also said that we have more influential pop culture in the Tampa Bay area, and of course, St. Pete ranked higher than Tampa proper did. Has sexier people.
Ooh, wow, sir.
But also the more annoying people, and more dishonest. And
more dishonest, huh?
They said laziest, along with people in general from the South. ChatGPT said people from the South, when they compared state to state, ranked lazier than in other regions of the country. But also we're more relaxed and we use more drugs.
Oh, wow. Well,
apparently.
When you were talking about the laziness factor, and then right after that it was relaxed, but I wonder sometimes when you do live in a warmer state, I would not say like you and I are not lazy by any means, But sometimes I think even the most stressful situations, when you do live in a warmer state like this, it's sometimes you feel like you're on vacation all the time.
Yeah.
So maybe you have a more of a relaxed mindset.
More relaxed mindset for sure.
You know,
like we wear shorts half the year, and
right.
And it's hot. When it's hot, you're not moving around real fast. When it's hot, you're kind of sluggish. So that could lend to that lazy kind of feel. I think that's a good point.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Christopher.
Woo, Switzerland.
I will say too, just in closing about Chat GPT, you know, when it first came out, I was like, oh my gosh, hesitant, so on and so forth, like so many people. But it was when, you know, Google and everything first came out, if you use it as a tool, it's so valuable.
Yeah.
Very valuable. Of course, you still have to research facts on your own. You still have to do that, but it can cut down on a lot of
time that you would have spent doing research. And of course the AI effect on what it can do with pictures and videos and stuff. We had lunch earlier with Buddy, our producer, and he took this picture of a friend of his who's a producer at one of the TV stations here in town, who at some point years ago had some sort of interaction with Bill Cosby on a limited, like, professional kind of basis before he was doing roofies and stuff. But Buddy was able to take a picture of the two of them and make it into a video where she's kissing Bill Cosby.
It's so crazy.
It was fake.
It was fake.
So real.
And so that's a whole other topic, you know, like what, because that can be very scary.
Yeah, how do you know? How do you know it's real or not?
Right.
Yeah, there's so much erroneous and incorrect information out there before ChatGPT and AI existed, and now it's further compounded because anybody sitting there with a computer in their underwear in their basement can create something that's completely bogus that looks real.
Crazy.
Real weird world we live in.
Yeah. And social media, of course, what name comes to mind when you think of social media and the whole, you know, growth?
Oh, Zuckerturd. Oh, sorry, did I say that? I meant Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg. My favorite person.
Was that a great segue, though?
Yeah, that was a good segue. So what's going on with Zuckerberg?
Well, he has bought a massive home, massive, in the Miami area, Indian River, isn't
Indian
it?
River, I think that's right.
Yeah. How much is it? Do you remember?
I think it was $75 million.
Yeah, or something like.
Which just seems like chump change for him. I saw in that story a whole bunch of like super rich. We're not just talking millionaires here. We're talking like billionaires. Larry Ellison, Sergey Page. You know, even get down to levels like Tom Brady, who's worth not chump change, but he's not like billionaire material. But these people buying $75+ million homes, $120 million homes. I read the story that one guy bought sight unseen $12 million for a house next to his existing property because he wanted to tear it down and make for a better view.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it's crazy money.
You know, but what it goes to show, though, as well, is how hot Florida is. I mean, and I'm not, of course, hot, but you know, like what a hot place it is for people. I mean, people say, is this the next Silicon Valley? I mean, and the more of that we see, or we could potentially see, can make the state more desirable.
Yeah, and you know, our economic conditions better and state coffers presumably higher, although that might change with the change in the property tax law if that passes the ballot. But I'm getting sidetracked. But
no, but there's a lot of benefits here. Like speaking of tax, you know, there's no state tax,
right?
You know, so
no
there's
state income tax,
right? So there's a lot of people that I could see that, of course, they have lots of incentive also to be here beyond our nice weather, and I don't think slutty people. I think we're really nice people.
We're really nice. There are no sluts in Florida, folks. You've heard it here. Maybe Miami, though. So let's just talk about Miami. I am not going to win the Miami Chamber of Commerce Prognosticator of the Year award because I absolutely cannot stand Miami.
But you love the Dolphins.
I like the Dolphins because I grew up in Naples, and that was our team, you know, in the broadcast market. So, yeah, I'm a lifelong Dolphins fan, but I do not like Miami, Florida. I have never gone to Miami and had a good time.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe I'm going the wrong place, but you know.
You've just gone with the wrong people.
The wrong people. All right.
I mean, let's give it a shot.
Next time you and Ted go, call me up. I'll join you, and you can show me a good time in Miami because I have not had it. I find that it's pretentious, and so many people down there that don't speak English, and that annoys the crap out of me. And like it's expensive, and I don't like it. I don't like Miami.
You know, I was just in Miami for the Real Screen Conference.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Real Screen Conference, for people who don't know, it's really, I mean, quite something. It's where all the big TV networks, producers,
Right.
you know, are all there. And it's because of my involvement on another national show, which I hope to announce soon. But I see what you're saying about Miami. Extremely expensive, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, extremely expensive. But, you know, it's always fun to explore, Christopher. Always fun, yeah.
I'll leave the exploring to the explorers like you. I'll look at your pictures on social media and be like, yeah, there's Sarina down in Miami. God, it's her down there, not me. You might win the Chamber of Commerce Spokesperson of the Year award. And you can be like, Switzerland.
You know what, though? I was so flattered by, though, that you said, and you put it on the record, that if I ever did run for anything, that you would be my campaign manager.
Absolutely. You would be a fantastic candidate. What do you want to run for? Let's conspire here, your campaign plan and what you're going to run for and when.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I can't, because what if
I think you should run for mayor of Tampa.
You do?
We talked about that last time. You would be Bob Buckhorn's worst nightmare. It would be awesome. Sarina is coming for you, Bob. Your days are numbered, fooling us all with your pothole-ridden streets.
I love Bob, though.
Oh no, you love everyone.
Yeah, I do love everyone, because I'm in love with love.
You're in
but
love
I
with
do love the city of Tampa, you know, and I would definitely have to become more politically versed as you are, and you know, but I would love this city for sure.
You ready to file? Huh?
No.
If we can raise some money in a couple days, will you run? You think I'm kidding? Oh my gosh, you would be an awesome candidate. Who wouldn't vote for you?
I think there's
Bob Buckhorn. You would kick his butt. It'd be like 70,000 to 1.
Oh my gosh.
And he and his wife would probably vote for him. She has to. Or when he saw he was the only one that voted for him, he would come home and he'd be really mad at his wife.
I thought he was an excellent mayor, though. He did a lot for the city.
What did he do? No,
That's a whole other show,
all right,
whole other topic. And I definitely have to raise this several
the Swiss flag when I ask you, what did Bob Buckhorn do for Tampa?
Several times I'd have to raise this, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Spring break.
Yeah, so speaking of Miami, speaking of the Zuckerbergs, you know, moving here, I mean, I just think every single year, and it's wonderful to see Florida becomes more and more desirable, but not even just Florida. I mean, Tampa ranked ninth
in a,
on a massive list of top places to go for spring break.
It was, Tampa was 9th out of 10. This was based on Google searches for spring break destinations.
Isn't that something?
And we were number 9. Now there was another.
Sarasota was number 3, I think, right?
Sarasota was, yes, number 3. So the whole list was Hilo, Hawaii was number 1, followed by Asheville, North Carolina, Sarasota, Long Beach, California, Panama City, Florida, the Redneck Riviera, yoo-hoo, Punta Gorda.
Wow, isn't that something? Well, Punta Gorda has done a lot since after
the hurricanes.
Charlie years ago. You know, they put in a lot of, and I'm very happy for them, because man, they were hit hard.
Have you ever been to Punta Gorda?
I have. I covered Charlie.
Oh, that's right. Well, so you know Punta Gorda, Switzerland.
Switzerland, yeah.
Santa Ana, California, Fort Myers, and then Tampa, and lastly, I think it's the really only cold weather location, Vail, Colorado.
Isn't that something? But Clearwater was not up there, which is kind of surprising. I just find it so interesting, because so many places like Clearwater, though I know it's not in the top 10, but so many places in Florida like Sarasota, so on and so forth, most of those have been, you know, heavily beach driven or heavily. This with Tampa, great. Yes, we have a lot of water around us, but I think it says a lot on how we're becoming more of a foodie town.
Yeah.
You know, places to walk around, the river walk. I mean, there's so many. But it's so nice to see, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. It's cool. And I think, you know, it'd be interesting to see how Google broke that down and like what these searches were. Was it Tampa Bay people were looking for? Was it specifically Tampa? Or are they including all areas within Tampa Bay, regardless of what the specific search was? Like was it for Clearwater? Was it for St. Pete? Was it for Tampa? I don't know. But there was another study that came out last week by Hertz, the rental car company, and they were listing the top 10 spring break destinations, and a lot of them were on this list as well, including Tampa on that list. But Orlando was
awesome.
I think the #1 overall, at least in Florida, and Tampa was I think like 7th or something like that. But yeah, Florida's great for spring break, including what else happens around springtime.
Baseball.
Baseball.
And it's spring training for baseball,
Right.
which is fantastic. And I have to say, I know we've talked about the Rays, we've talked about the stadium, and we've really delved into that, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that in the future. One of the things that I love, though, about spring break football is
Spring break baseball.
Spring break baseball. Like we're always
I know,
thinking
we're
about
always
football.
thinking
We're
about
always
football.
thinking about football. I'm sorry, we're always
'Cause
thinking about
football's
football,
better.
guys. Yeah, because we can't help it. We love football. But where they're playing, I think so many of the stadiums or a lot of them are outdoor. For me, spring break baseball really gives more of a feel of that all-American sport.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
And the tickets are,
yeah.
it's so great for families to go. I mean,
You
the
go like $15-20. Yeah.
and you get a chance, oftentimes, at those smaller venues. Well, it's more relaxed, maybe, to meet some of the players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite team?
It's hard to say. I would say, honestly, Switzerland again. But Derek Jeter is such a class act.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to meet him several times. The way he treats kids, the way he is. So, sometimes you gravitate towards the team
Player.
because of the player.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
so immediately off the bat, just because I had so many interactions with him, and I witnessed so many times he'd be sitting and having coffee, and kids would come up to him all the time, and he
Interact
break
with them,
weight.
be real cool.
And yeah. And so, how
That's
about
cool.
you?
He's
Do you
a
have a
class
favorite
act. So I grew up in Naples, and the spring break, the Kansas City Royals used to play in Fort Myers, and so I was always kind of akin to the Royals. I also used like the Lions, and it's the Tigers, Detroit Tigers, and of course the Rays.
Yeah.
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 And I would, of course, have to say the Rays, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We got to keep the hometown people happy, right?
Of course. Definitely.
Well, this was fun, Sarina.
Yes, as always.
We have a couple other great interviews coming up later on today that we're going to be sharing later this week. And we had Bob Martinez last week. He was
Oh
great,
my
wasn't
gosh, amazing. What a class act
really
that
is.
man is.
He really
Definitely.
is.
He is a Tampa Bay treasure.
he? He is a Tampa Bay treasure. And so are you.
Oh, thank you. And you know what? Wait, speaking of spreading messages and things like that, we would really love to hear from you guys, like our audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love hearing comments. Tell us what you want to hear more of. We appreciate the feedback.
Likes, shares, comments, questions,
Yeah.
anything on social media. We're on all the channels, Heartbeat of Tampa Bay, on Instagram, Facebook.
Everything.
We're everywhere, right?
Yeah,
We're
podcast,
everywhere.
you can listen to us,
Spotify,
Yeah.
Apple Music.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks to Alicia, our wonderful production
Oh,
assistant.
yes, of course you pronounced it wrong, though. Alessia.
Alessia's over there going, it's not a joke. It's not a running joke. It's a running problem. But anyhow, yes.
But he's got a great heart.
Thank you. Every story shared
Adds another heartbeat to Tampa Bay.
from courage to community.
We're so proud to tell the stories that keep our neighborhood strong.
Thanks for watching
The Heartbeat of Tampa Bay.